Hello, I'm Ben Parsons. I went to Salford University studying music in the Adelphi building nearly 18 years ago. I had a great time and I still keep in touch with many people from those days. I now have two jobs. I play keyboards and tour with the Miles Kane Band. It's a great job. I feel very lucky as I'm able to travel the world, play lots of gigs and festivals, have a ton of fun and get paid for it. I'm not always busy with the band though. I have another job which I like just as much, which is writing music for TV. Mostly for production companies and Channel 4. My last composing commissions were for Bear Grylls and Stephen Fry's Wild Weekends and Heston Blumenthal's Fantastic Foods. This is my home recording studio where I do most of my TV work. I've been asked to talk to you briefly about using social media and other online communication to your best advantage. It's easy to fall into the trap of continually working on the creative elements of your projects, whatever they might be, without thinking about the business side of your career and how you're going to promote yourself and stay in touch with potential clients. Although perhaps it's most important to meet clients face to face if you possibly can, as this will make you more of a real prospect in their eyes, it's also important to get communication organised properly and your internet profile looking professional. I have a Gmail account and I use email as my main source of communication with TV producers and directors, so it's vital that I can spot their emails straight away. It can be a fickle industry, and if you miss an important job email, then it's quite likely they might just contact the next person on the list, and that could result in loss of earnings and an opportunity missed. If you can make sure your messages are forwarded to your phone, then that will help enormously. It's been a huge change in the last few years for me, suddenly being able to reliably get email whilst not being at home, and there's been several instances where I've replied to messages from another country whilst touring with the band, whilst being able to keep the impression that I'm still at home working on a TV project. As you are no doubt soon to be embarking on your careers, I can't stress enough how important it is to get organised with your email properly. Your email account can easily be more of a nuisance than an advantage if it's full of unwanted messages. I must admit that I do have to force myself to keep my email maintained in a way that makes it a useful tool for work, but just a few minutes a week can make all the difference. It's a good time now to set practices in place, as you'll ideally keep your email account for a long time. Block and unsubscribe advertising emails so you don't have to wade through loads of rubbish to get to the important stuff. Organise your message into folders, maybe one for work, one for social messages, one for things to think about at a later date, etc. Also, if you set in place now systems for hanging on to all your work contacts, then by the time you're my age, you'll have a great long list of useful people to get in touch with when you want to promote something or keep others aware of what you're up to. This will one day be a huge asset to you, so my advice is to start now and keep backups of your contact lists. Also, don't underestimate the value of your friends and colleagues at university. I got my first break into TV music through a friend of mine in Salford Adelphi, who then went on to work at an editing suite in Manchester. Without that contact, I may have never broken into commercial composing, as it's a notoriously difficult industry to get into. So, for example, it might be worth making sure that you always make time to read your university emails in case there are events which may benefit you and your career and provide networking opportunities, and of course to make sure you don't miss out on information about your course. You're all no doubt on Facebook, and this can also be used to become more closely connected with your contacts. Though be aware, it's very hard to delete photos and videos from your profile page, so it's worth thinking about keeping your social and professional life separate. In any circumstance where a potential employer is evaluating you for work, they are very likely to check you out on the internet, as it's so easy for them to do, and they'll be easily put off if your online profile paints you as nothing more than a drunken party animal or worse. Check yourself out, Google yourself, however weird that might feel, and view your profile through the eyes of a potential employer. Aside from this, I also use Twitter, though not for work, though I know people who regularly get opportunities for work that stem from tweets. So again, it might be worth bearing that in mind when choosing who to follow. Aside from that, the only other social media I use is WhatsApp. The group message function is really handy for keeping in touch with friends and colleagues, especially whilst touring. But it could also easily be used to send out examples of your work or inviting large groups of friends to gigs or whatever you need. Anyway, I hope this provides a little food for thought. I can't honestly say that I've always religiously followed these guidelines to the letter, but to be honest, I wish I had, as I know I've lost touch with valuable contacts over the years, which is now totally unnecessary in an age where it's so easy to stay in touch. And now that I do use social media to my advantage, I have seen a clear benefit in terms of more work. Right, with that in mind, I must get back to work. Good luck with it all.